Google Pixel 8 and 8 Pro are two of the best phones of the year so far, but now with even more changes and a $300 price difference. But which is the better buy? Well, we're going to find out today. So the changes for the Google Pixel 8 series are definitely more than mere refinements this time around, and the result is a greater separation between the base model and the more expensive Pro tier phone. Most notable of these is the Pixel 8, which is smaller and better than ever. With a 6.2-inch chassis size, it actually makes it one of the smallest flagship Google phones, at least since the Pixel 5 launched a few years ago, and at just 187 grams, it's a super lightweight handset, and because of that, it's also just super comfortable to hold on top of that. I will say, although the 8 Pro does come in at 213 grams, it's not a hefty phone. In fact, the rounded corners make it one of the most comfortable phones that you can go out and buy today. This obvious size distinction equals a Pixel 8 Pro with a larger and better display than the vanilla Pixel 8, as you'd expect. The Pixel 8's 6.2-inch OLED display has received some upgrades of its own while retaining that 1080p resolution, but it gets an all-important and super impressive high refresh rate to 120Hz. It's actually really slick in practice and in keeping with its bigger sibling for the first time. The screen itself also on the Pro can hit 1Hz, and the peak brightness level can go as high as an insane 2400 nits, which means it should be legible in all settings. The Pixel 8 isn't too far behind, as it also packs in a fairly bright screen of its own, which can reach as high as 2000 nits. I've got to say, viewing these outdoors was an absolute breeze, and this also thrown in Google's typically excellent colours, contrast levels, and all of the well-calibrated aspects of a Google display as you'd expect. Of course, a major upgrade on the 8 Pro is a switch to a flat screen. I think from a usability standpoint, this is really huge and a big change for the series. It's just easier for you to use this phone, it's less likely to be damaged from a drop, and naturally it means you'll find cheaper accessories to throw on this screen if you don't want an extra added protection. Another big change is the rear panel colour options and finishes, because Google has dropped the glossy glass in favour of matte, but sadly it's only on the Pro this time around. For whatever reason, the 8 sticks with glossy finishes, and although it does hide scratches well, it really just doesn't look as good. The Pro is quite soft at a touch as well because of that upgrade, or that upgrade to frosted glass, which definitely reminds me of the Pixel 3 series and is a little bit of a throwback. You also get IP68 ratings on the entire Pixel 8 series here too. I also really do like that Google has adopted further rounded corners rather than sharp edges this year too. It's been something that's changed over the past few years. Google has really softened up the design to be just less angular, and it has this strange effect of reducing the footprint of the hardware while also just making it much more comfortable. The camera bar on the Pro has changed a little here too, with a singular cutout for all of the lenses rather than separation. It just looks a little weird at first as it's one big cutout that is a pill shape, but you do get used to it pretty quickly. Google's all new Tensor G3 processor is also not a huge quantum leap, but more of a also-ran chip from the firm. I wouldn't say it's bad, it's not really going to leap to the top of the performance charts. Instead, it's tailored to the Pixel and the Pixel experience day to day, with tweaks and tuning that take advantage of the unique characteristics of the Pixel series, which is more AI and machine learning functions, which Google is definitely touting this year. So because these phones are different sizes, they are naturally going to have different battery capacities. The Pixel 8 has a 4575 mAh battery, while the Pixel 8 Pro has a 5050 mAh cell. That's going to get you through most days with enough to spare, and although I haven't necessarily spent tons of time with the 8 and 8 Pro at this point in time, the lifespan definitely impressed me. It's definitely now though time to talk about another reason why you will probably choose that Pro over the regular series Pixel this year, and that is of course the camera. Both cameras here have the same primary rear shooter and front facer. The ultra wide angle does differ again for the first time, while the Pro has an extra telephoto sensor that the regular Pixel 8 has lacked. Both of these phones get autofocus on the ultra-wide camera, which is definitely a big bonus, which also enables macro mode capabilities. The Pixel 8 Pro also has a 48 megapixel telephoto camera. This is definitely the star of the show for many of you out there, with an f2.8 aperture, OIS, which enables 5x optical zoom as well. The Pixel 8 entirely misses out on this telephoto sensor, but I will say Google does make up for it with super res zoom of up to 8 times, and it definitely looks a lot better than the previous gen. Super res zoom also works much better on the Pixel 8 Pro, as it does have that dedicated telephoto sensor, which helps it out to around about 30x digital zoom. Another difference between the two phones is that the Pixel 8 Pro supports manual or Pro controls, and it makes it the first Pixel smartphone to come with manual controls ever really. Alongside this, you can also output high resolution images using that full 50 megapixel sensor if you wish. The Pixel 8 Pro will receive video boost and night sight video functionality on top of the things I've already mentioned with a future update. It's not currently available right now, although the Pixel 8, the base model, is not expected to receive these, disappointingly. So objectively, the Pixel 8 Pro is the better camera system, and for that reason, if you need zoom plus all the trappings of the best Pixel camera system, at least available today, then go ahead and pick it up. But it is clear to us that Google is targeting different tiers of consumers with the specs and the pricing of the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro this time around. Of course, the biggest selling point of the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro is not actually even the hardware. That's something we need to know, but actually the software update commitment. With 7 years of proper support, that means updates every month and every quarter and every full release, the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro will ship with Android 14 right now, but if Google does stay true to its word, Android 21 will be a possibility for this duo in 2030. No other phone, not even an iPhone, can claim such a long support window, and that's something to be lauded. Because of this, the $699 price tag of the Pixel 8 makes it probably the de facto recommendation for most users and anyone looking for an Android phone. Of course, it does have a smaller and more manageable size, an equally competent primary camera, plus the same overall software experience and that very, very impressive update system. I think if you aren't chasing any particular spec on the Pixel 8 Pro, you should probably default to the Pixel 8 as it will be a great smartphone for most people, most of you watching even. Conversely, the Pixel 8 Pro is for the enthusiast out there. While it isn't a complete spec chaser across the board that we often see from other OEMs, realistically though Pixel has been a spec beast for that matter, it definitely packs in enough of a punch to stand its ground. And for users who demand a larger screen, finer camera controls, greater camera flexibility, or even just more storage, the Pixel 8 Pro makes a lot of sense. If those are worth it to you though, you will need to stump up an extra $300, but I think it's likely a price worth paying if those things, as I mentioned, are important to you day to day. Hopefully though this has helped you make that all important buying decision, but let us know which model you're opting for down in the comment sections below. Thanks for watching though, this is Damien with Android Authority, and I will catch you in the next one.